And I believe that that exactly is how principles work. If you jump from a 10-story building, it's an invisible power that pulls you down toward the ground. We call it gravity, the force of gravity. It's invisible. Now, when you have the wisdom to submit to principles, the invisible power in the principle is released to aid you. Some people have pride. You know, they do not want to submit. So there are people who struggle all their lives working against principles. Let me talk, for example, about the principle of authority. How do you derive authority? You derive authority by submitting to authority. When you learn submission to your parents, you learn submission to the authorities in school. You learn submission if you go to church, you submit to the authority in the church. In your office, at your workplace, you learn to submit to authority there. You find out that you derive the freedom and the power to make things happen when you submit to authority. Some people don't understand that. They think it's not cool to be told what to do. So they begin to show traits of rebellion. They rebel against authority in school, rebel against the authority of their parents. But then after quite a while, they just suddenly realize they do not have the capacity to make things happen in life. They're not effective. Why? You derive authority from authority. Am I asking that you become subservient, that you become a slave, that you allow yourself to be abused? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the fact that there are different levels of authority, and when you are placed under some people, you submit to the authority, you derive authority from them, and with that you grow in responsibility, and that's how you also grow and become great. Okay, back to our principle. You've got to learn to submit to the laws of nature. You've got to learn to submit to the principles that govern our world. And I'm telling you, sometimes you will have serious conflicts in your mind when you become aware of certain principles. You'll have serious conflicts in your mind, in your emotions. Okay? You will have to begin to do what you are not accustomed to be able to obey the laws of science and the laws of nature. I know, for example, that some of us are part of cultures that are mystical, or should I say mythical, in our approach to life. Okay? And I realize that in such cultures, we do not make progress in the sciences very quickly, because we always have a vague or unrealistic explanation for what has happened. Instead of us doing scientific research and doing analysis, working on data, and being able to project based on data and on history into what will happen in the future, no, we do not like that. We like to blame either the devil or to blame witches, you know, for what happened, and it just slows down our progress. Am I saying that the devil is not in existence? No, I believe in the existence of God and of Satan. I believe in the existence of angels and devils. But I am saying that we are also a part of a physical world, a material world that is controlled by principles. And that you can't create new principles for yourself. You met them there. The laws of magnetism are there. Okay, the laws of electricity are there. There's no point trying to prove, look, that you're powerful and you are immune to being electrocuted and therefore laying hold on a high power electric cable. Listen, you walk with the laws of nature and in fact leverage on them. So I want to encourage, first, respect for principles. When you go to the farm, you cannot make a seed grow. However, the laws, the power that will make the seed grow is already there. That power is controlled By principles. You learn the principles. Submit to the principles. Put the seed in at the right time. Cultivate the seed and then do the harvest at the right time. You can't create the seasons. God already did. You've got to acknowledge that. You're not God. The things you can control in life are more than the things you can control. However, when you do your part, satisfy the requirements for specific principles, the power within those principles will be released to work on your behalf. That's life for you. And that's what the law of the farm tells us. No farmer can make any seed to grow. But the farmer can do his part. Put the seed in the soil. Make sure it's the right season and that there's humidity and the correct temperature in the soil. His seed will grow. It's a cooperation between divinity and humanity that you learn to submit to principles. But let me emphasize the overarching principle over the law of the farm. What you sow is what you will reap. It always works. What does that imply? You actually have the power to predict what you will get in the future, because when you look at the kind of a harvest that you want to get, it will dictate the kind of seed that you want to sow. Some people call it the law of reciprocity. Some people call it the law of corresponding action. Some people call it the law of sowing and reaping. Some people call it the law of cause and effect. Anything that you see happening in our world is an effect. It was caused. Everything you're doing today, everything you're saying today is a cause. The effect is inevitable. If you're lazy in doing your job, you are kicking the principle into operation, because eventually the effect is coming tomorrow. If you're stealing today, you're kicking this principle into operation, because tomorrow the harvest is going to come for the stealing. If you are cheating today, you're kicking this law into operation. You are disrespectful to authority, you are kicking the law into operation, because it is inevitable the reaping part is coming. So you can create a beautiful future for yourself, an awesome future for yourself, by being diligent where you are, by serving faithfully if you're serving under someone else, okay, by facing your studies and giving your studies the best shot. It's an investment. The results are coming in the future. Well, let me get back to my point. And my point today is this: you cannot succeed on the farm if you have no respect for principles. When you get to the farm, I know that some of us know how to pray. I do too. But when you get to the farm, you can't just look at a tract of land or a plot of land or some hectares of land and then close your eyes and then stretch your hands towards this plot of land and say, I pray that from this point to this point, maize should grow. And then I pray that from this point to that point, only wheat should grow. And then you pray, and at the end of your prayer, you say, Amen. You know what? You come back when it's harvest time, you will harvest a lot of thorns and thistles. What am I saying? There's a place for prayer. Why? Because the power that makes the seed to grow, you have no control over that power. The power that causes the rain to fall, you have no power over that. Okay? But even when all those things work right, if you don't sow your seed, if you don't submit to the principle that says that sowing has to come before reaping, you'll have absolutely nothing to reap. You can't argue with principles. You know, there's this story that I read that illustrates how when you come across a principle, if you are wise, you should submit to that principle. It's about the captain of a ship. He's going on the waters in the night and then saw